They said you were family. They smiled while sharpening the knives. You never saw it coming. Not the silence before it happened, not the shift in their eyes when your back turned. One moment you were the architect of something real, something built with trust. The next you were standing in the ruins, holding the shattered blueprint while they toasted to your downfall. The betrayal wasn't loud, it was clinical. Precision cuts made behind closed doors, each one disguised as concern. Each lie dressed in friendship. You replay it in your head, the fake laughter, the half hug, the quiet text that never got a reply. That's when you understood. The most dangerous assassins don't wear masks. They wear smiles. The air felt heavier after they left. You tried to speak, but the words died somewhere between your heart and your throat. The betrayal wasn't just what they did. It was what it revealed. How fragile you were. How blind you'd become to loyalty's illusion. You remember standing there, surrounded by the ghosts of your own trust, feeling like every shadow was laughing. The room spun, but not from pain, from realization. You had mistaken proximity for loyalty, familiarity for brotherhood. You thought they were your safe house, turns out they were the lock. There's a silence that follows betrayal, an ancient one. It doesn't echo, it devours. You heard it that night, crawling through your veins, whispering that you had been naive. You had offered your secrets, your energy, your vision, and they built their throne out of your exhaustion. But something else was born in that silence, a pulse, a heartbeat you hadn't heard before, the sound of your own will rising from beneath the wreckage. They think they buried you, but they don't understand how pressure works. They don't know what happens when oxygen runs out and the only breath left is rage turned pure. That's where the alchemy begins. That's where men like you stop being victims and start becoming architects of chaos. You looked at the ashes and saw blueprints. You saw every lie as data, every wound as proof. You stopped asking why and started asking when. You move differently now. There's no noise in your anger, no tremble in your hands, just precision. The kind born from betrayal's forge. You've stopped searching for allies. You've started recruiting silence. The same walls that once caged you now listen. The safe house they locked you in has no windows, because it doesn't need any. You're not looking out anymore, you're looking in. They won't see the next version of you coming, because you learned the oldest rule in the book of survival. Revenge isn't fire, it's architecture. They built your isolation thinking it would break you, but what they really built was a command center, a place where ghosts become generals, where pain drafts its own army. They mistook your stillness for defeat, but it was incubation. You're not waiting anymore, you're designing their silence. They left you in silence because silence was meant to break you. The phone stopped ringing. The world you built, piece by fragile piece, erased your name like it was never there. Days blurred, nights dragged. You kept replaying that last conversation, the one where their tone changed, cold and mechanical, as if they'd already decided you were disposable. Every word still echoes in that empty room. The walls feel closer now. The air tastes metallic, thick with what you can't say out loud. You wonder if this is punishment or transformation, but deep down you already know. Both require suffering you used to crave noise, validation, proof that you mattered. But now the silence has weight. It presses against your skull, whispering truths you never wanted to face. That no one's watching, no one's saving, no one's thinking of you. And yet, you're still breathing. You wake up every morning in that same dim light, staring at the same cracked mirror, waiting for something to change. It doesn't. But something inside you shifts, almost imperceptibly. The version of you that begged for understanding starts to decay, replaced by something colder, sharper, harder to kill. You start noticing the details you once ignored, the hum of the refrigerator at midnight, the faint vibration of traffic outside, the ticking clock that never stops. Time is mocking you, but it's also shaping you. Each second becomes a test, each hour a quiet battle no one sees. You're learning that isolation isn't punishment, it's exposure therapy for the soul. It strips away illusions. You see who you are when there's no applause, no distraction, no audience. You realize power isn't built in celebration, it's built in exile. Sometimes you catch your reflection and flinch, not because you hate it, but because you barely recognize it. The eyes are darker now, not from sadness, from awareness. The old warmth is drained out, replaced by a stillness that feels almost ancient, like something asleep inside you has started to wake. The hunger isn't for revenge anymore. It's for precision, for mastery, for silence that doesn't suffocate but commands. You stop reaching out, stop explaining, stop chasing ghosts of people who showed you their absence. Instead, you start writing notes on the walls, phrases only you understand, codes of survival, reminders of control. They forgot you exist. Good, now you move unseen. The safe house becomes your crucible. The flickering light becomes your witness. Every breath you take now is a declaration, not of survival, but of return. They thought they buried you, but they only gave you time. Time to learn the sound of your own pulse. Time to sharpen the edges of your mind. Time to understand that when the world forgets you, it's not exile, it's rebirth. The fall wasn't your ending. It was gravity showing you where the ground really is. And now that you've hit it, you finally have something solid to push off from. You stare at the mirror long enough and it begins to breathe back at you. The reflection isn't a person anymore, it's an accusation. The face staring back isn't asking for sympathy, it's asking for accountability. You see every scar, every moment you swallowed the truth just to be liked. Every time you called surrender, patience. The mirror doesn't blink, it just waits. You realize the betrayal that broke you wasn't just theirs, it was yours. You betrayed your own instincts, you silenced your own voice. And now, stripped of illusions, there's no one left to blame. The silence isn't empty anymore, it's judgment, it's truth. It's the moment you stop pretending you didn't know what you were capable of all along. There's something ancient about this kind of awakening, the kind that doesn't announce itself with light but with fire. You stand there barefoot on the cold floor, feeling your pulse in your throat like a war drum. Everything they took, your trust, your reputation, your peace, still burns behind your eyes. But now you understand something they never did. Pain doesn't destroy you, it reveals you. Every humiliation, every sleepless night, every unanswered call has become a kind of ritual, and the reflection is your altar. You whisper, not for mercy, but for clarity. The mirror listens. The air feels heavier, charged, like a pact is being made in silence. You used to search that reflection for signs of life. Now you look for weakness to kill. You dissect your own flaws with surgical precision. You're not polishing yourself anymore. You're forging yourself. Steel doesn't beg to be sharp. It endures the fire until it earns the right to cut. That's what this moment is, not redemption, resurrection. The difference between the two is that redemption asks for forgiveness. Resurrection doesn't ask for anything. It takes back what was stolen. Your stillness becomes your rebellion. Your restraint becomes your weapon. The more they expected you to crumble, the more quietly you built. You used to crave noise, validation, approval, applause. Now silence feels like an empire. Every breath you take inside that room sounds like a vow. You stop waiting for the world to hand you closure and start building walls out of discipline instead. No one knows what's coming. They wouldn't understand it even if they saw it. Because this transformation isn't theatrical, it's strategic. The mirror has become your first battlefield, your reflection, your first opponent. You don't fight to win anymore. You fight to remember who you are beneath the wreckage. The eyes staring back finally look familiar, cold, focused, dangerous. You smile, not because you've healed, but because you've accepted the wound as part of your armor. The past doesn't echo anymore, it kneels. And somewhere in that stillness, something ancient wakes up inside you. You realize the truth. The safe house they locked you in wasn't isolation. It was incubation. You weren't buried. You were planted. And now the ground is trembling. They thought the fire would consume you, that once the flames touched your name, you'd vanish like smoke. But you didn't. You stood inside the inferno until it stopped recognizing you as prey. You became the temperature itself, too dangerous to touch, too patient to burn. The same people who laughed while you fell asleep in ruins will never understand what it means to rebuild without witnesses, to wake in the ashes, not to mourn, but to plan. You began speaking a new language, one only the broken can hear. Each scar became a letter, each sleepless night a sentence. You rewrote yourself in silence while the world kept scrolling, unaware that the next threat they whispered about would carry your signature. The safe house they locked you in became your forge. Every insult was melted down and reshaped into strategy. Every betrayal filed into precision. You stopped chasing revenge because you realized revenge is loud, but evolution is quiet and far more lethal. Before, you begged for validation. Now, you don't even need acknowledgement. You walk differently, not lighter, not heavier, just certain. You learned that power doesn't arrive with applause. It arrives with detachment. You don't fight for attention anymore. You fight for legacy. They thought you were starving, but you were fasting. They thought you were hiding, but you were storing ammunition. The longer you stayed silent, the more dangerous your stillness became. There's something terrifying about a person who's made peace with solitude. You used to fear it, the empty rooms, the unanswered calls, the echo of your own voice. But solitude became sacred. You realized the gods never speak in crowds. They whisper in isolation. And that whisper told you one truth. No one owes you rescue. You are the weapon and the wielder. You are the warning and the storm. Now you move through the world like someone who's been dead once before. Nothing startles you. Nothing seduces you. You see through kindness, through promises, through masks. You learned that loyalty isn't tested in comfort. It's tested in silence, when no one's watching, when no one will clap for you. And in that silence, you sharpened your mind until it could cut through manipulation like glass. They wanted you blind, but you built eyes in the dark. The fire doesn't burn you anymore. It obeys you. You walk through chaos and it parts. You don't flinch when they doubt you. You smirk because doubt has become your currency. You know that every loss you endured was a down payment on the empire they'll later envy. You no longer rush to prove yourself. You let results arrive like thunder, late, inevitable, impossible to ignore. They thought the flames were your ending, but the truth is simpler, darker, and far more poetic. The fire never killed you, it crowned you. They didn't see you return, they never do. The world has a way of forgetting the ones it buries too early. You walk through the same streets, the same noise, the same poisoned smiles, but the air bends differently now. You carry something colder, something heavier. Your silence speaks louder than the words that once destroyed you. You no longer crave justice, you became it. The same faces that mocked you now glance over their shoulders, sensing something primal without knowing why. It's not revenge, it's recognition. The system that spat you out now feels your presence like static before a storm. You learn that power isn't loud, it's surgical. Every move you make cuts clean through noise and pretense. You don't fight in the open anymore. You rearrange the field before anyone knows there was a game. They called you paranoid once. Now they call you unpredictable. They don't realize both words mean the same thing when spoken by the weak. You've turned the chaos they handed you into architecture, plans, patterns, calculations so precise they border on prophecy. You move through rooms like a shadow that remembers sunlight but refuses to kneel to it again. Your reflection used to flinch. Now it nods. You see the marks beneath your eyes, the sleepless miles carved into your face, and for the first time, they don't bother you. Every scar became a ledger. Every loss an investment. You traded comfort for clarity, validation for vengeance disguised as purpose. You understand now that real dominance is quiet because it's complete. The lion doesn't roar when he owns the field. He just eats. The same people who locked you out of their world now orbit yours without realizing it. They study your methods, your rhythm, your restraint, trying to decode the formula you forged in pain. But there is no formula. There's only evolution, and you evolved past recognition. You built your empire on what they left behind: the ashes, the rumors, the silence. The safe house that once smelled of defeat is now a command center, humming with strategy and intent. You keep no trophies, no photos, no reminders. The only proof you need is how little their noise matters. They whisper your name now, not as an insult, but as a warning. You can feel it in their tone, half fear, half fascination, because they remember what you looked like when you fell, and they can't understand how someone could come back sharper. They don't understand that you never came back at all. You didn't return to be seen. You returned to watch, to calculate, to build. The storm they thought they survived is standing right behind them, wearing your face. And when the world finally notices, it will already be too late. Your footsteps are quiet. Your gaze is unshakable. You don't need validation, applause, or closure. The silence is enough, because you learned the ultimate truth. Power doesn't announce itself, it arrives. The room hasn't changed, but you have. The walls that once heard your breakdowns now echo with strategy. The air that once suffocated you now bends to your breathing. You sit where you once fell apart, surrounded by silence that no longer feels like a punishment, it's command now. Every scar, every sleepless night, every ghost of betrayal stands at attention. You've learned to lead them, not fight them. The pain that used to devour you now takes orders from you. You no longer crave noise. Power has made you allergic to it. The world still shouts for attention, still mistakes volume for influence, still dances for approval. But not you. You learned that control doesn't announce itself. It listens, it waits, it moves when others sleep. You learned that kings who shout are desperate for acknowledgement, the real one. They don't even need to be seen. They move like smoke through the corridors of chaos, touching everything, owning nothing. They locked you in that safe house, thinking isolation would starve you. They didn't know isolation is where gods are carved from men. You stopped fearing silence because you realized it never betrayed you. It just mirrored what you refused to face. That's the cruel beauty of solitude. It doesn't lie. It forces you to meet the version of yourself that the crowd drowned out. And once you meet that version, you never go back. You stop performing for the world. You start performing autopsies on your old self. You used to wait for apologies, for recognition, for justice. Now you understand, justice is alignment. Recognition is irrelevant. And apologies, they're currency for the weak. You became fluent in a colder language: outcome, leverage, endurance. You realized the universe doesn't care who hurt you. It only respects who adapted. That's your revenge, the quiet evolution. You turned their rejection into your resurrection. You built an empire out of what was meant to bury you. Now, when people speak your name, there's hesitation. Not out of admiration, but unease. They feel it, the shift. You're not what you were, and that unsettles them. Because you remind them what they could have become if they hadn't flinched when it hurt. The safe house they locked you in has become a myth now. They whisper about it like a ghost story. But inside, it's peaceful, strategic, sacred. You work in shadows while the world burns itself chasing attention. Your silence has become a weapon sharper than any word. Your calm unnerves the loud. Your restraint humiliates the desperate. You don't chase anymore. You attract. You don't react. You calculate. Every move is deliberate, surgical, inevitable. You've learned that true domination doesn't roar, it radiates. It doesn't announce its presence. It alters the atmosphere. You look out the same window they once left you behind. The sky is still gray, but it feels different now, like it's taking orders too. The world hasn't changed, only your eyes have. You smile faintly. They thought they locked you away, but all they did was give you the quiet you needed to crown yourself. And now your silence reigns.